All good things must come to an end. A book must have its final chapter, a movie must have its final scene, and a TV show must have its series finale. In the end, it all must come to an end. Same thing goes with internet shows. Doesn't matter how long they've been on the air, weeks, months, even years. Eventually, it's all going to come to an end. Eventually, everyone has to say their goodbyes and say it's all over now. When it comes to this little sphere of the internet, with internet shows, it's not always the host that decides that, oh, the show is over. The author decides when the book ends. The movie director and the movie producer decide when the movie ends. The TV show executive, he decides, when the TV show ends. When it comes to internet shows, more often than not, it's more so along the lines of the audience decide when it's over. When it's high time for the host of said internet show to just call it quits. It's over. Now, more often than not, the people that run these internet shows where the audience demand that they stop because it's gotten too boring and they need to shut it down, they're pretty fucking stubborn. They just refuse to listen to their audience and they keep on going. But every now and again, you will find someone who decides that, hey, I've been hosting this internet show for a while, but it's getting kind of stale, so I'm just gonna end it. But, like I said, those are very few people. Most of the internet shows I've watched have fallen apart because of the former. I can think of no better example about this right now than the Kino Casino. It truly does amaze me that, in the grand scheme of things, the Kino Casino is the fastest show to fall apart. I mean, the Kino Casino's been on the internet for 6 months now? 6.5? Close to 7? And it's already falling apart. It's losing subscribers and it's losing viewers. It's losing fans big. I mean, Christ. Ralph's show is still going. It didn't take Tonkasaw this long for his fucking show to implode. Didn't take it wasn't that quick for Ear Juice for his show to fall apart. But why is this? Why is the Kino Casino coming to an end? At least in my mind. Well, because of two reasons. One reason, which is the, fate of every single one of these internet shows, it eventually becomes repetitive. I've stated this before and I'll state it again. A lot of people like to think that Hef leaving He-Jazz was the reason the show went to shit. But no, it wasn't that. It was the fact that it got so goddamn repetitive. Every other week, it was always one stream, Ear Juice, Stretch, and Hef, and they were going to talk about Cog's latest meltdown. And then the next week, it was Ralph. Then we're back to Cog, then we're back to Ralph, back to Cog, back to Ralph, back to Cog, back to Ralph. It gets fucking annoying after a while. Even after I introduced Cyrax, it just became another fucking repeat for them. We're going to talk about Ralph's latest meltdown this week. Then next week, we're going to talk about Cog. Then the following week, we're going to talk about Cyrax again. And then it's back to Ralph. And then back to Cog. And then back to Cyrax. Etc., etc., etc. And the Kino Casino is going down the same route. It really is. This week, they're going to talk about Ralph's latest meltdown. The following week, they're going to talk about Nick Fuentes' latest meltdown. Some of the more recent shows, they just said, fuck it, we're just going to add those two together. We're going to talk about Ralph and Nick Fuentes' latest fuck-ups. Aside from the fact that it's been getting all so repetitive, there's also been some drama. You might have heard of it. And that involves a payment processing plan that Andy Worski and PPP have been using for quite some time. For you see, as much as Andy Worski and PPP like to claim that they're against America First, as much as they claim they're against Nick Fuentes and all the members in America First, they really seem to have no problem using a payment processing site that is owned partially, from what I can hear, from Baked Alaska. Yeah, that guy. But Baked Alaska, the political chameleon, as I like to call him. Mr. Yoba. They got no problem shit talking to him on their show. Meanwhile, they're having to use a fucking payment processing site for donations that's owned by him. Yeah, it seems pretty fucking sus, as the kids like to say. And, I'm not the only one that thinks it's sus. I'm not the only one that's raising a couple of eyebrows. I'm not the one that's, waving up a couple of red flags. I'm not the one fucking questioning, why they think it's a great idea to use Baked Alaska's personal payment site when Andy Worski and PPP are constantly shitting on him any chance they get in their show. Quite a lot of other people are starting to question things, starting to figure out why they're going on this fucking site. Especially the people that have donated upwards to $100, $200, $500 per week on the show. Those people are asking questions. People really want to know just why they thought it was a good idea to use Baked Alaska's payment processing site when they're constantly shit-talking him. Now, because of that, since Baked Alaska is Mr. Fedman, since he's a little glow-in-the-dark, now everyone that's ever donated money to the Keno Casino, there's a good chance that, Baked Alaska has their credit card information, their real names, their addresses, all their personal information has just been submitted over to Baked Alaska, who people keep calling him a Fed. And no doubt that information is getting shared around to America First members. I mean, imagine that. You got all this money in the world. You got so much money, you don't know what to do with it. So you decide, you know what? I'm going to send a $500 super chat to this little internet show that I like. I got all the money in the world. $500 is like pennies, quarters to me. That shit really don't matter to me. And then you find out, many months later, that all of your information has been sent over to Baked Alaska. A man that the two people you find entertaining on their internet show really love to shit talk about. And as I said, good chance your personal information's out there. Names, credit card numbers, fucking cell phones, cell phone numbers, etc., etc. And when this is brought up to BBB and Worski, their immediate reaction is to fucking cope. And cope, and cope, and cope, and cope, and cope. Now, what does this mean for them going forward? What does the future entail for the Keno Casino? Well, it's already bad. The dislikes outweigh the likes. Okay, sure, granted, you can no longer really see the dislike counter since, YouTube took that shit away. But there are ways people can get around it. You look at their chat. Chat's constantly posting tomato emojis. Chat's pretty split on whether PPP should fire Worski or vice versa. Ethan Rau's just doing fucking victory laps over this. Every single member of the Gaunt Guard's just celebrating. Daddy Jim has been radio silent about this for the past week or so, but is only really starting to come out about it now. It says he wants to do a show with them to ask the real questions. Which, I'm going to be honest with you, that's going to be a cope too. Jim's going to go on. He's going to ask some lowball questions. You know, they're gonna prove that they're good little boys. And then Jim's gonna say, "Oh yeah, you guys are good little boys. You didn't do nothing." And that's gonna be it. Now you understand why I don't ask you guys for money for this. Now you guys understand why I don't want to put effort into this shit. Now you guys understand that if I ever do decide to stream, for whatever fucking reason, I'm gonna do it because I want to have some fun. And I want you guys to have some fun. And I'm not gonna do it because I'm fucking greedy. Because that's what happens in the end. Eventually, these people are going to get successful. Eventually, the money's going to roll in. Eventually, people are going to get greedy and they're going to do something stupid, and then it all comes crashing down on top of them. Now, me, I don't have to worry about a goddamn thing. I just do this because I'm bored. I just do this because I want to say my piece. And if people want to hear what I have to say, they can go right ahead. Don't matter if you agree with me or not. If you want to watch my video, if you want to listen to what I have to say, I say go right ahead. Really doesn't matter to me. I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to have some fun. Share my opinions on all the latest gossip. But, yeah. Another somewhat good internet show. Now falling apart. Because, as is always the case, autism and greed just had to mesh together. So, yeah. God damn, these people are fucking idiots, I swear to Christ.